has had so many awesome characters and so many brutal deaths. But right here, right now, we're gonna be talking about the top 5 Resident Evil gaming deaths. Number 5. Luis Serra is a Johnny Depp looking motherfucker from Resident Evil 4 who's trying to help Leon Kennedy out. Luis was hired by Sadler to research his Las Plagas parasite. Sadler got what he needed from Luis and then BAM! Oh, out of nowhere with that shit. Luis comes walking through a door and fucking is impaled right through the chest and lifted up fucking 20 feet in the air by a damn tentacle. His body's then slammed right down onto the ground, right as a tentacle goes and slips up Sadler's dress. He killed that motherfucker with his dick. Anyways, Luis isn't a major character in Resident Evil, but that death scene is pretty fucking brutal.
Louis!
Number 4. You know, this may be one of the fastest deaths in the entire series, but it was fucking sick. Brad Vickers is a STARS Alpha team member who saved Jill and Chris from the mansion in the first Resident Evil game. Yeah, the same chicken shit who ran out on him at the beginning. He came back in the end of this little chopper and saved their asses. So imagine that, in Resident Evil 3, he's running around screaming like a little pussy. Screaming at Jill. He's like, we gotta get out of here. Boom! STARS. The fucking nemesis is right in his grill, grabs his face, lifts that motherfucker right up into the air, and I don't know what that sound was, but fucking tentacle right through his mouth, like some kind of sick hentai. Those horny Japanese, man, let me tell you. Number 3. Now this could have been ranked number 1. In fact, it should be ranked number 1 because Albert Wesker is the number 1 villain in the Resident Evil franchise. But no, instead of doing some super cool fucking killing, no, what they did, they killed him the way they kill every other fucking tyrant basically. In Resident Evil, they shot him with an RPG. Okay, in this instance they used 2. I mean, in Resident Evil 5, Chris is fighting this motherfucker in a volcano. You guys could have used something a little bit better than the same old RPG bullshit you do in all your other games. This is Albert Wesker we're talking about. But still though, his death is huge in this franchise because there hasn't been another villain as big as him since, and it's gonna be hard to top the Albert Wesker. This death was really one of the most impactful in the game storyline wise. But call me crazy, right here, call me crazy. I don't think we've seen the end of Mr. Albert Wesker. We all know the Resident Evil franchise is kind of suffering right now. I think what they need, is an adrenaline shot of Mr. Wesker. Number 2, Steve Burnside is a little punk-ass kid who falls in love with Claire Redfield, and believe it or not, Chris is not the one who kills his ass. In Code Veronica X, Steve was injected with the Victoria virus. And during your battle with him near the end of the game, you get held up in a little cell. And then you get wrapped up by, guess what? Motherfucking tentacles. I know the Japanese made these games, but come on, motherfuckers. Really, you gotta ease up on these fucking tentacles, man. So when she's being held, Steve grabs his fucking axe, and he's about to chop that bitch's head off, and then boom, stops, holds it. He says, wait a minute. Hey, I can control this shit. He reaches back up, and bam, cuts the shit out of them tentacles. And then the tentacles strike him down. He falls up against the wall and he turns back to his normal self. Claire then comes up to him and he tells her in all this kind of passionate, lovey-dovey bullshit, he says,
I'm glad that I met you. I love you.
And then he passes away. You fuckers see that right there? That is a tear in my eye. That is some fog in my goggles. This is hands down one of the saddest deaths in the entire franchise because you really cared about what he and fucking Claire had. It hit you down deep, man. Hit you down deep up in there. Number 1. First of all, I know what you're thinking. Nothing can beat the death of Steve Burnside, right? Wrong, motherfucker. Resident Evil 6 saw the number 1 death in the franchise so far. Pierce Nevins was a BSAA member who worked under his captain, Chris Redfield. While Chris was down and out at his worst, it was Pierce who brought him up and made him fight. Chris and Pierce built a real bro friendship throughout their run in the series. What a lot of you might not know out there is that this wasn't a one-shot deal for Pierce. No, Resident Evil 6 wasn't it. Resident Evil also had a manga that went out, and Piers and Chris were in it. They were featured in that shit. You see that man right there? That ain't fucking Santa Claus. They were sent off to Asia to the Mahara Academy to handle little business. Apparently the C virus got out and fucking infected some little Asian kids. I don't know. It happened. So anyways, back in Resident Evil 6, at the end of Chris and Pierce's campaign, they're fighting this big-ass BOW known as Chaos. Chris is about to get knocked the fuck out, and Pierce knocks him out of the way and gets knocked into the wall, and boom, jacks his fucking arm up. Red Bull gets snatched up, about to meet his fucking gory demise. And what does Pierce do? He sees a fucking little vial that has the C virus in it, crawls over, injects himself with the C virus. It was the only thing he could do to get the strength up to fucking save his captain. So he shoots some fucking huge ass lightning bolt, boom, and frees Chris, and then you take off, you're running, you're escaping then. They finally get to the escape pod, and what does Pierce do? He kicks Chris into the pod, locks it up, and shoots him off, just as the building is about to explode. Oh, but that's not enough. It ain't over there. The fucking Hayos, fucking Hey Arnold fucking jumps out and jumps onto Chris Redfield's little pod, and he's about to kill him right there under that water. And just before he rips his pod open, killing Chris, hey, guess what? There's Pierce again, with another lightning bolt shooting out the fucking manhole cover and blowing that little son of a bitch to shreds, saving his captain once again. The facility blows up, and there goes Nevins inside, sacrificing himself for his friend and his captain. Now that, motherfuckers, now that is a death. Whatever it is, I hope you guys enjoy the top 5 Resident Evil gaming deaths. Yeah, there was a lot of fucking death to go over, but these are the ones that I think were the most interesting and the most impactful in the game. You like it, you hate it, fucking let me know in the comments, motherfuckers. I will fight you right here, right now. Let's go. Let's go, motherfucker. My pants are off. My pants are fucking off. Let's go. Let's go. Come on.